Hi, it's Lady Hatoa. So today I am making Bœuf carotte, which is a carrot and beef stew. A very, very simple stew to make. That's very typically served in bistros and rustic farmhouses in France. It's very cheap to make because it's based on just beef and carrots and very few other ingredients. It does take a little time, but not much work because the stove or the oven is going to do all the work once we've just assembled the first part. So I've got my ingredients here. I've just put about a tablespoon of butter to melt with about 3 tablespoons of olive oil. So I'm doing it in the oven. The first part happens on the stove still. You can do it fully on the stove as well. So if you're going to do it on the stove, you'll do this first part with me. You'll put it on a slow, low heat for 1 hour with everything except your carrots. Then you're going to take it out, add your carrots, put it back on the stove for 1 more hour of low heat, slow cooking, and that's it. Because I'm doing it in the oven, it's going to take longer. It's going to be 3 hours in the oven. So after 1 hour and a half, I'm going to take it out and add my carrots. Because you don't want your carrots to be overly cooked either. So my beef, I have 700 grams. I don't like the fatty kind of beef. So I bought a beautiful casserole beef from the butchers at our local supermarket. And I'm going to keep it in quite big chunks. I don't want to cut it too small. Though if you have less time to cook, then do cut it smaller because that will just mean it will be done faster. But I do like the look of big chunks of beef in a classic stew. So I've just put that now. I'll show you in a second. In my casserole dish. I'm going to brown that up for 2 to 3 minutes. So my meat is now quite nicely browned. I'm going to just add my 2 chopped shallots into there. I'm just going to let them wilt down a little bit for a minute or so before I add my flour. So I'll show you what that looks like now. Just let it wilt down just a little bit. And then I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of flour. I'm going to add quite a generous tablespoon of flour, which I already pre-measured out. I'm going to give that a good mix for a minute. I do love a stew in winter. Every Sunday I either make a roast or a stew. It's just the most warming dish, and they're really, really not that hard to make. And there's so many different types you can make with different meats. And a lot of the time it's just a bit of prep work and assemblage, and then kind of the oven or the stove does the work for you. So it's not really that much work either. And I have 2 ways I love to eat stew. Either with a nice mash, so either just a potato mash with lots of butter and milk, or a nice carrot and potato mash is lovely, or potato garlic mash is gorgeous. That's been about a minute. So I'm going to put the garlic in, and I'm going to pour in 20 centiliters of dry white wine. Just going to pour it in slowly because I don't want that flour to clump too much. Well, I don't want it to clump at all, really. So the other way I like eating stew, especially one like this where it's just, oh, the sauce is amazing, is quite simply in a bowl with some nice chunky bread, buttered bread on the side. But it needs to be a beautiful bread or a nice baguette. I certainly wouldn't try it with sliced bread. So let me just show you this now. So that's after the white wine has gone in. We've just got a couple more things to add, and then it is ready to either go in the oven on 160 degrees if you're using the oven, or if you're going to do it on the stove, put it on a low heat. It should be sort of bubbling, but very, very gently. You don't want that cooking too fast at all, or your liquid's going to evaporate far too quickly, and you're going to lose some of that beautiful sauce. So here I'm going to add in 400 milliliters, 40 centiliters of beef stock. Nice and slowly. And then I'm going to pop in what they call a bouquet garni. So it's basically in France, in a lot of stews and dishes like that, they do a mixture of herbs tied together with string, which they put inside for the cooking time, and just makes it so much easier to pull it all out in the end. So the classic bouquet garni is thyme, bay leaves, and parsley stalks. So I'm going to use the tops of the parsley. At the end, I'm going to chop some and put it over the top of the stew. So the stalks are not wasted because they go in the bouquet garni, which I'm going to pop in now. You can see all I've got left here is my carrots. That's it. I am going to salt and pepper a bit. So let me just put this nicely in the middle there. I'm going to put a little bit of pepper. Again, I'm not going to salt it too much because stock of any kind is already quite salty. This is some beautiful pepper, rock salt from l'île de Ré, the island of Ré, which is not far away. I can always add some more later. I just rather not over salt it at the beginning. So there you go. This is going to go in the oven, again on 160 degrees. If you're doing it by stove, again, it's just a very nice, soft, low heat. So I will, in 1 hour and a half, pop the carrots in, mix it, put it back in, wait another hour and a half, and then I'll be back to show you the end result. So I've just taken it out of the oven. It smells amazing. That smell is running through the house right now. Divine. That something so simple could be just so beautiful is just incredible to me. Perfect. Going to take out our bouquet garni. Thank you for your service. You are no longer needed. And that is just gorgeous, utterly gorgeous. The sauce is that combination of not too thick, not too thin. So that's what I was referring to earlier about dunking the buttered bread into it. Oh. It's just beautiful, and those carrots have still held their form perfectly, but are just soft and sweet, and I know this because I make this recipe a lot. It is just divine. Pop a little bit of parsley onto that, and you have a wonderful bœuf carotte stew.